allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for the men and women in the armed forces, our first responders, our veterans, those fighting the good fight in Ukraine, those suffering from the military conflict in the Middle East, also those suffering from the conflicts that we have here in our great country. And also a special memorial to the Can Man and also to Mrs. Betty Lou Emmons, both giants within our communities. May their memories be eternal.
Amen.
Thank you.
Okay.
We do the American Creed.
American's Creed by William Tyler Page. I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Diane?
Okay, we have quite a few speakers. We're going to start with Al, Tommy.
Danny.
Al, if you could please come to the lectern, state your name and your address.
And Al, if I could just ask a favor, Mr. Dinesh, who is a property owner,
there.
who is right next to, he's leaving for India, I think tonight.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not? Okay, so you're okay. Okay, never mind. I was gonna ask if he could jump in. Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
I'm leaving on Thursday.
Okay. Gotcha.
Albert Tanny, 153 Beer Drive, New Milford. I am the chief of the New Milford Community Emergency Response Team. And tonight, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, I wanted to come tonight to give you some information about our 2025 year-end numbers and a little insight into the operations of our team. Last year, our team dedicated 778 man-hours. Man-hours are calculated by adding the number of hours for each team member at each one of the activities. For number buffs, that equates to 98 and a half 8-hour days. And then if you take that 788 man-hours, multiply that by the government's hourly rate for volunteer work, which is $34.79, that equates to a value of $27,414. Those hours included activations, meetings, training, and community outreach events that we attended. They do not include the number of hours that our members spend online taking individual courses. 308 of those hours were for activations. Activations, we have to get approval, prior approval from the Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security by telling them what the event is and what the duties of the team will be. Most of those activations were for town events like the road race, trunk and treat, the light parade, and so on. One of them was for a fire department drill, and there was another one which involved the fire department, the PD, state police, and EMS. Last year we held 2 new basic classes, and we added 6 new members to our team. We will all continue to hold 2 classes in 2026. In 2025, we reached out to several surrounding CERT teams from Kent, Danbury, Woodbury, and Ridgebury. We talked to them about co-training and mutual aid. We also shared best practices with a couple of those teams who are trying to rebuild. Excuse me. We will continue those collaborations in 2026. We also attended the annual statewide CERT training day at Central Connecticut State University, taking various classes and getting updates from DEMIS and Region 5. We couldn't have done any of this without coordination with Demas Region 5, financial support from the town and Citizen Corps, and the direction and support from our EMD, Jim Furlow. We also applied for a grant from Eversource, which funds we use to create emergency go bags for distribution to social services clients. We look forward in 2026 to continue providing service to the town, the community, and its first responders. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Carol Tyrer. State your name and your address.
My name is Carol Tyrer. I live at 80 Aspetuck Ridge Road, directly across the street, approximately 160 feet from the original.
Excuse us. Please be quiet out there.
I live at 80 Aspetuck Ridge Road, directly across the street, approximately 160 feet from the original proposed lithium battery energy storage facility location. I've lived in this location for more than 30 years and in New Milford for over 50 years. My home was built in 1850 and originally stood on the very property now proposed for this facility. It was part of the historic Richmond Dairy Farm. One of the farm silos still stands on this site today. The Richmond family was deeply rooted in New Milford, and their son Paul was a community leader. Our Richmond Center on Main Street is named in his honor. This land is not just residential, it is historic, environmental, and personal. I am in the direct line of exposure to this proposed facility, like my family, neighbors, and many others in our town and surrounding towns who now recognize the risks involved. I've taken the time to educate myself on the impact such a project would have on our town, its air quality, noise levels, water supply, soil, wildlife, and overall environmental health. These risks exist whether the facility is placed at the originally proposed location or moved a couple hundred feet north. Flatiron has no demonstrated experience operating a completed and functioning battery storage facility. The only project cited on their record in Massachusetts is neither complete nor operational. This is not a reassuring track record for a project of this magnitude in a residential area. Lithium batteries of all sizes are widely recognized as dangerous. They are a national and international safety concern. When you mail a package, the first question the post office asks is whether it contains a lithium battery. There is no debate, no assurance accepted about your particular special packaging. Lithium batteries are restricted because of their inherent risk. Batteries far smaller than those proposed here, whether lithium ion or iron phosphate, have been responsible for catastrophic fires and explosions, including incidents that have downed aircraft. To suggest that significantly larger lithium battery units, each weighing approximately 100,000 pounds, pose no meaningful risk to our homes and people living nearby defies both common sense and documented experience. This is a residential area. It does not belong here. And the town should not be standing idle while residents are placed in harm's way. In the event of a fire, this is not merely a discussion about property values, though my home would probably undoubtedly be rendered unsellable. This is a discussion about human life. Mine, my family's, my neighbors, families who live directly in the path of this facility. I ask you, in addition to considering the extensive facts, my health, my safety, and my right to remain safe in my own home. I am not disposable. None of us are. Thank you.
Lenny Lillis. Get out of here. Okay. Come on, Lenny. Got to be in the second row.
Hi there.
Hello.
My name is Lenny Lillis, but my real name is Helen Lillis, just so you're aware of it. And I live at 171 Aspetuck Ridge Road. I have a white house with a white fence, and I face Sand Road, so you know where I live. You are our governing body, and you do what's best for our town. You must protect our town. We all love and enjoy it. I have spoken at the zoning meeting the other night. I have lived here for 79 years. My parents, Helen and Harry Marks, bought our home in the 1940s. I have water from this watershed. In 1950s, we had a hand-dug well that used that aquifer. But then we had to dig or drill a well because of all the building around us. But I have witnessed floodwaters which have isolated my area with high water. With 3 bridges out in 1955, it was scary to experience as a 7-year-old. I remember it. The town council and mayor need to protect this large aquifer area in New Milford. Part of it is located in the area where the usage for the battery storage facility is inappropriate and dangerous. It is also next to the West Aspetuck River. It is a AAA river, one of Connecticut's cleanest rivers. It is a breeding ground for trout and other wildlife, which depends upon the river for survival. The West Aspetuck and the East Aspetuck River flow into the Housatonic River. It doesn't just affect New Milford. It reaches into Long Island Sound. Please inform the Siting Council that you vote against it. A no vote will not only affect New Milford, but people, animals, and wildlife. It affects many towns and cities down to Long Island Sound. And it includes all areas of Long Island Sound, both in Connecticut and New York. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor Pete. Good evening, members of the Town Council. Good evening, people. And you didn't have to use my last name. I know it's a tough one. My name is Dinesh Rajagopalan. I beg pardon? D as in Dennis, I. Second one. Okay, you ready? Rajagopalan. And it's not as bad, you just read it out. Yeah. We don't have silent syllables in Indian names. 29 years to buy a business. I was a tennis pro to fulfill a dream. And with the help of a local community bank called New Milford Bank and Trust, I was able to do that. And the club has been in existence prior to my being here, 65 years. Myself, my family, my children, Jonathan and Alex, now 29 and 26, we ran the club together. They've went through New Milford schools and they've moved out and they're working now, but they will be involved in this. So it's more important now to me that this is preserved. The club is a home of for local families, not just from New Milford, from surrounding areas. Some New Yorkers have summer homes here, but everybody comes in the summertime, between June and September, and everybody's together. And it's really a magical place. Because of the memories it's created. And at this point in life, I think to myself, a year or two ago, I was almost thinking of not being here anymore. And when I see people around I know for years, and then their children coming back and their children's children being in camps, I feel the need to be here longer, keep this going. We worked hard to keep this a healthy environment for all the families. That's being threatened now.
This project was moved closer to my club. Even prior to that, it was still a threat. I was at the meeting the other day and with young people. All I learned really was that I was asking very good questions. And I was told that repeatedly. So I guess I'm a good question asker. However, I was not consulted where young children and families literally spend the whole day there. We have hundreds of families. And between July Council will help us with. It's not to be shared. It's ours. And then do the fire, talk to the fire marshal, have the independent study. But whatever you do, just keep it to yourself because it could backfire. Because what if they'd say, hey, it's okay to do this? You never know what can happen. But use the attorneys that you have to advise you to use all these resources and then see which will stick. Because at the end of the day, you cannot have it in an R40 residential zone. And what next to this town after this? So I urge you to act on this as fast as you can. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Cindy, I can't make out, is it Davis? Davis. Okay, Cindy Davis. Name and address, please.
Is this set up for me? Hello, my name is Cindy Davis. Okay. 15 Park Lane West. So I spent some time thinking about this, and then I had to write something, so it's not as well written as I would like. What comes up for me is that this first came to the town's attention in 22. I first learned of this when I went to the zoning meeting in December of 25. The location of this property is the worst possible place that it could be. The damage to the aquifer would be irrevocable. The damage to the air and the other environmental problems are equally irrevocable. I don't live on Aspetuck Ridge Road, but I live close by, and in talking to someone, the air, 3 miles, I am not scientific, but there's so much to be concerned about to the environment and the health and the property damage to the residents in their real estate is equally irrevocable. One question to town officials is, when this was presented in negotiation, again, I do not have information, why weren't the elected officials paying attention to all the repercussions that would occur at this location? Another issue is that this must not go to the siting council for them to decide the outcome of this. It is the town's responsibility to not allow its Treebeard, its Flatiron, to just be able to have free reign in this. The town has a responsibility to act in the behalf of its residents. So the person previously speaking spoke about a town attorney. In my mind, an educated environmental attorney who will be knowledgeable to address all of the issues that are at stake is what is necessary. And I ask the elected officials to use due diligence and to use their intelligence to identify how this can be stopped. The issue again, and it was stated about the aquifer, the floodplain, in coming to the meeting at zoning, the impact of the fires. Yes. Okay. I didn't know I would talk as long as I did. The impact of fire. So I ask the town officials to be due diligent in protecting its residents. This is crucial. The aquifer must be protected. The floodplain was established for a reason. The air must be protected. Property must be protected. The stakes are too high. Thank you.
Okay, Ron Arden.
Norbert Lewis. I've lived in New Milford my whole life. Oops.
I called him. Ron Arden.
He's next.
Yes, he is. Sorry. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, members of the town council, this,
Can you turn the podium a little bit?
I can do
don't know.
that.
Thank you, sir. We want to get a good picture. Thank you. Close enough. Thanks, Ron.
I want to start before I share my thinking. What? Oh, my name's Ron Arden, 54 Candlewood Lake Road North. Anything else? Can we start to 5 minutes now? Cool. All right. I want to start at a different place than I was going to after listening to the previous people and looking at the massive amount of people that are here. I have a sense relative to the people that are going to be speaking here, I'm the new kid on the block. We've only been here 4 years. But why we moved to New Milford is the reason I'm here. We moved to New Milford because the amazing sense of community. And this is a subject matter that has galvanized the town together. It has powerfully united across a bunch of different segments of our town into one unified thought. And leveraging that, we look to you, our town council, for one word, which is called hope. Because prior to coming here, and prior to I was about to say propaganda, but prior to the meeting that was on Thursday, which was brilliantly orchestrated by Flatiron to completely eliminate any type of community protest, any type of unified voice, by setting up 8 different segments that people can wander in at different points of time, so there was no continual, consistent flow of information that people could challenge them. It was strategically brilliant on their part. Furthermore, what was interesting was how at different areas of subject matter experts, they contradicted each other at times. It was amazing. And to the previous speaker, somebody said, well, you ask good questions. Well, I get paid to ask questions in my career. But you ask good questions. Where am I going with this? Let's start off with the environmental person. Somebody, and she's sitting here in the audience, was asking about the flood zone. And the person said, well, we have to abide what FEMA says. The woman said, yeah, but FEMA data is like 20, 30 years old. We have more current data here in the town. Take it. And the subject matter expert said, well, we'll take it under advisement. My question to him was, well, will you act on it? Dead silence. Moving forward, we asked about the subject matter expert about, God forbid, one of the lithium-ion batteries has an issue. It will take, they're going to train the fire department, they're going to train the first responders, they're going to do all this training, but it'll take an hour to get a subject matter expert from them onto the scene in 1 hour. Think about the impact on New Milford. Think about the people that live right across the street. 1 hour to get a subject matter expert. The other thing, which is why I'm here, and I'm trying to do this in the softest way, and which is why I said, town council, the word hope, is that it was communicated to me, my impression by the display on Thursday was we really don't have much say, that the town is basically impotent to effectively prevent this. And I want to know why. I want to know if that's true. Are we impotent to prevent this? Is it already a fait accompli? Because if it is, why are we here? So I would like some clarification on that. Is this a fait accompli and we're just here to vent? Or is this something that is potentially preventable? And if it is, we need that hope. We need the hope for you to act on that. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guilty. Good evening, Town Council. Randy, thanks for being here. Because I'm short? Okay. How's that? Nothing. Oh, okay.
The speaker doesn't work, it's for Facebook. So I brought Facebook in here.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have the speaker working? No.
Don't start my clock. He's asking questions. Okay. And good evening, Mayor Bass. I need another pen. Okay. So good evening. My name is Lisa Ostrov. I live at 175 Candlewood Mountain Road. I understand that Treebeard is very new at the placement and construction of battery storage power plants. They have a few in construction, but nothing currently up and running. Well, we all noticed how they staffed their last meeting with individuals who have been with the company for only a few months and had no answers. And we all know that they're very new at this, which is scary. Missing from their charts were poignant details to be addressed, because it's not if there will be a fire, but when there will be a fire. And we all know that. I mean, they say the life of this is 20 years, but what can happen in a few years in a lightning strike? Do they have a timely evacuation plan and a facility to house the residents that are in danger? How do they plan to compensate for plummeting home valuations? Compensate for ruining businesses in New Milford when you can't drink the water? Who's going to want to come to New Milford and create a business when you can't drink the water? Can the town thrive on reduced tax revenue from this calamity, while Treebeard is simply paying the same property taxes, I believe, that are currently being paid on the property? Think about road destruction, safety of all individuals depending on which way the wind blows, inability to drink the water, loss of home values, loss of businesses, loss of taxes. Can the town of New Milford survive that? Because you see this fabulous turnout, and it's only growing, and it's anger and frustration, and it's growing, and this is what we need to do to nip this in the bud. We do not want to go to the siting council with this because they tend to ignore us. How can New Milford thrive on such a plan? But I am cheered as the turnout against the plan grows in numbers. We're a powerful force, and we will not allow this battery storage facility in our town. It's too dangerous to our lives and livelihood. Let's nip this in the bud. That's it.
Hello, my name is Kate Losey. I live at 4 South Avenue. I'm an ecologist and a climate activist, and I'm against battery storage facilities due to their negative impacts on air and water quality, as well as their impacts to wildlife and critical habitat. How many are here today against the battery storage facility? Yeah. Woo! For the past month, I have been making calls and speaking to people across Connecticut, as well as reading the state laws that are driving these projects. We as a town are behind what other towns have been doing, and so we need to rectify that now. While there is no doubt the law that was passed on July 28th, 2021 did not consider the impacts to open space. It did not consider the impacts to air and water quality in the event of a fire. It did not consider any of those things. And yet our town and town officials seem to be saying there's nothing to be done. And that impression is being given to citizens, which I want to actually push us back against, that we actually do have the ability to put up a fight, and our ability to hire counsel, environmental counsel, which I have the names of 2 environmental firms from those towns that have mounted a fight against this, and I am happy to share those with the town council. We do have the ability to review, regulate, and restrict these projects pursuant to Section 1650X of Chapter 277A of the Connecticut General Statute. And so I am therefore asking the town council tonight to make a motion to hire legal counsel today to help us to help the town with their rights that we have to regulate to help us understand our rights around these issues. We need to reverse course, and we need to do it quickly so that we have the best chance to fight this project. Additionally, as someone who placed a sign at the entrance of the high school tonight to let people know of the location change for this meeting, we cannot risk any more changes to public meetings on this question. It is our right as citizens to speak with you, our representatives, with or without this Flatiron Treebeard people present. We don't need them. And so I'm asking you, the mayor, and I'm asking the town council to ensure that the subject and venue for the next town council meeting not change, and that you confirm that the wetlands and zoning and other commissions that we were promised to meet with will be at that meeting in 2 weeks. In summary, please hire a lawyer, and please do not change the next town council meeting.
Hi, my name's Jeff Ferguson. I'm 14 White Swan Drive, and I've been a resident here for about 50 years. Worked with lots of the children as a teacher and at the Pratt Center, and I love this town. It's a beautiful town. I walk my dog every night through town, and I just tonight, and I just think, what a great place to live. I think if we let this go through, it won't be that way anymore. I think it's going to change it irrevocably. And I think about, as the crow flies, it's probably not even a mile away from here. What if there is a toxic bloom? Do we have to evacuate the whole town? Yeah. That would be a pretty scary thought. And I don't think these guys are really organized as much as we might hope that they are. I think we kind of saw that if you went to the meeting the other day. Not a lot of confidence in their technological skills, or even the fact that they have even tried any of this technology out. I'd hate to be the guinea pig town that has to do that. So I guess, like everybody else here, we're scared. And we don't want to lose our town. We don't want to lose the identity of this beautiful town. And I think that's why we're all here. Thank you.
My name's Tom Kapsiak. I live at 94 Long Mountain Road in New Milford. The minutes of the December 4th meeting of the New Milford Economic Development Commission mention that the mayor presented his comments regarding the pros and the cons of the battery storage facility that is being proposed by Flatiron Treebird. We ask that the mayor share those pros and cons with the town council and the community this evening so everyone has the same information. It is extremely important to understand the mayor's position on this project. Thank you.
And Eric Jones, please. State your name and address.
My name is Eric Jones. I live at 345 Litchfield Road. I agree with all the comments people have been making tonight. There doesn't seem to be any upside to this. I really don't want this town to be the experimental site of getting the first one that they can get in of all the few ones that they're trying. They don't really seem to have any experience with anything. I could not attend the meeting, but I was told that having the different people there, that some of them only worked for that company 2 weeks and they didn't seem to know much about anything, and they did apparently contradict each other. As far as the flood data, I don't think there's anything wrong with using 100-year flood data because there's been a lot of floods. It's in a very low area, and with the way that the environment and weather things are going, Connecticut's even had more floods than they have in the past 20, 30 years. So I don't think having a shorter time span of flood data is any better than having 100-year flood data. It was my understanding that being in a residential zone, even houses were rejected for this site due to effects on the aquifer and the wetlands. So if you can't even build residential housing there, now you want to keep a bunch of chemical batteries and things that apparently when they catch on fire, they prefer to let them burn for a while rather than seal them off and have them explode. Either way is bad. If the town should fight it as much as they can, and as people said, get an environmental lawyer that also has knowledge about this subject. But if for some reason the siting council forces this on us, I would suggest that the town have an extremely high restoration bond that would not be returned to the company until after it's all done with the facility and it's shut down. Because if they create a lot of pollution, it'd be too easy for them just to declare bankruptcy, walk away, and leave the garbage where it is. And the other thing I would suggest is please do not give them a tax abatement, which this town is way too free with. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Ames? Steve?
Steve Ames out there?
Ames, Steve, A-M-E-S.
I'm not speaking.
Not speaking? Okay. And you are Steve Ames? Yes. Okay, fine. We'll move on to Coach Tony Morrissey.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm actually here on a different but sort of related note. I'm here for the Hope. Sorry, I'm Coach Tony Morrissey with Brian Cody's Brothers and Sisters Foundation, Mine Hill Road, New Milford. I'm here in the same vein for the hope of the health and safety of our community. Although my plight and my family's plight and the 3,000 that walk with us is a little different, I'm here with my beautiful wife, Tracy, some of my children, and others impacted by the overdose epidemic. We speak tonight not only as community volunteers, committee chairs, but as parents who lost a child to the overdose epidemic. Our son, Brian Cody, lost his battle with substance use disorder 2,347 days ago. Since then, we've walked alongside more than 3,000 grieving families across not just New Milford, but Connecticut and the entire region. Families who never expected to be part of this conversation are families who now live it every day. Overdose is not a distant issue. Nationally, overdose has been the leading cause of accidental death in America for adults under 50 for nearly a decade. The leading cause of accidental death in America for adults under the age of 50. Even with recent national declines, the CDC reminds us progress is fragile and requires continued community-based engagement. Here in Connecticut, unintentional overdose deaths have exceeded motor vehicle fatalities in recent years. There's more overdose deaths than there are motor vehicle fatalities. That's data. That's fact. There's more overdose deaths than we've lost in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Vietnam combined. That's facts. That's data. That's why International Overdose Awareness Day, observed every year on August 31st, exists. It's recognized globally. Federal agencies like the CDC, SAMHSA, and the DEA issue annual guidance on encouraging municipalities to hold remembrance and prevention events. The governor of Connecticut has issued formal Overdose Awareness Day proclamations. I have been with him when he made these proclamations, standing by his side on TV, right? These proclamations are promises. And towns across our state and region adopt local proclamations and host community events on the same weekend each year. I'm very proud of New Milford. New Milford has become a part of that movement and been a leader in the state through our Overdose Awareness 5K, Recovery Festival, and so many other great works that go down here in New Milford. However, New Milford has become also kind of getting in its own way. Okay, so while we have grown into a space where families grieve safely and recovery is celebrated openly and stigma is reduced, for many this is the time that they finally feel safe and they can admit that their family is struggling. That opens the conversation and that saves lives. Once we start talking, once we start engaging, lives get saved. I can tell you from personal experience. And I have friends. Yes, 1 minute left. Okay. I'm gonna call it the call to action. Right now, securing the town green for this event is on a first come, first served basis, based on a system that's faulty, that goes down, has outages, and it's troublesome. And the outcome is that you have great nonprofits and community service oriented programs that are pitted against each other. We need to find a way to preserve the last Saturday in August, specifically for the overdose awareness campaigns that we need to continue to run until such time as there's no overdose deaths. In a moment, you're going to hear data that's very compelling about why we have this need here in New Milford. We have not gotten to zero. There are hundreds of calls in this 1 mile radius. We need to keep this going, so I'm asking that you please find a way to preserve the last Saturday in August every year to make sure that we continue to connect and come together to solve this problem. Thank you very much, and thank you for caring.
Tracy Morrissey, I live at 42 Mine Hill Road. You want to come over here, buddy? This is Jaden Cody. I'm here today as a mother who has lost a child to an overdose, and as someone who has spent the last 5 years pouring heart, time, and energy into making sure fewer families ever have to feel this pain. I want to be honest about something that is difficult to say out loud. It takes an enormous emotional toll to continually fight to make sure these awareness and recovery events happen year after year, even with the incredible body of hard work from dedicated organizations, volunteer, public servants, and partners across the state. So much progress has been made. International Overdose Awareness Day is not symbolic. It is recognized by federal agents, proclaimed by our governor, observed by the towns across our region. It exists because consistency matters, visibility matters, and community matters. We're asking New Milford to stand by our side, to help us battle for those who are battling, to protect this weekend, to protect this space, and to protect the message that no family should walk this walk alone. Because healing doesn't only happen once, it happens every year, together. Thank you for listening, and thank you for caring.
And no matter how hard it gets, just keep going.
Say again.
And no matter how hard it gets, just keep going.
Thank you.
My name is Mark Eccles. I live at 80 West Side Road in Torrington. But I work for Lantana Recovery in New Milford. I operate the Heritage Inn Recovery residence in New Milford. I've lived in New Milford. I got sober here. I got hooked up with people like Tony, going to the recovery event. New Milford became my home for that reason, because I was so welcomed by this community. With clients I deal with, they say the same thing, how much they love New Milford, how welcoming it is to the recovery community, whether it be, one of the facilities that operates here, one of the many sober homes that's now operating out of New Milford, the support groups that exist. It's just a great town to get sober in and stay sober and start your life over, as I did, Tony handed me a bunch of data here, which I haven't gone through over all of it, but the problem still exists, right? Even though we've done a lot of work, the overdose deaths are going down. We're not done, right? And this isn't the time to let off the gas. This isn't the time to take a break. This is time to keep persevering so that these numbers don't go back up, which in some places they are. One of the number one barriers I see to people getting sober, to recovery, is the stigma that surrounds addiction, right? It's just people are embarrassed, there's shame, there's guilt. Tony's event does a tremendous job of putting faces to these numbers, right? That puts a face to recovery and breaking down that barrier. And I think not having this yearly until this problem is dealt with is a shame. And I'm here to support Tony and ask that the town does whatever it can to make sure this event continues every year, grows every year. I know there's a lot of support. I remember going to the first one, and then last year I think it was, significantly grown. And I just think, like I said, as someone that works in New Milford with people in recovery, for the last 5 years, losing something like this, or at least the insecurity that this may not be able to happen this year or next year, something we really can't afford. And I just ask you, the town council, to do whatever they can to make sure that we don't have to come back here next year and do this and try to get a spot on the calendar over something simple, right? It's just a date that we need. It's the same time every year. So thank you.
Hillary Ram, 154 Guernsey Lane. Last time I was here was on December 8th at the last town council meeting, and I spoke during public comment with dozens of other residents. I'm so happy to see even more tonight and speaking so beautifully. I'm humbled. We all spoke against the Flatiron Energy Battery Project plan for Aspetuck Ridge Road. I left that meeting encouraged that every member of the town council in attendance that night and the mayor raised their hand in opposition to this project. Several citizen groups are formed and working hard to actively oppose this project, so that is all positive. However, since then, what has been troubling is the lack of clear direction and communications from the town. For example, there was confusion about the location of this meeting tonight. So I am sincerely asking you, Mayor, as I did before on December 8th, to clearly communicate well in advance the details for the next couple of meetings. What, where, when? What will the format of the meeting be so people can come prepared? Where will so people come prepared? The location and the date and the time. Please put this information out tomorrow on the town website very clearly, and then advertise it through every town communication channel that we have. But most importantly, I am here to request that in your meeting tonight, the town council suspend the rules and make a motion to add the agenda Flatiron Energy as discussion and possible action on the Flatiron Energy Treebeard LLC project. This will empower you to actually do something tonight, right? Right now you can't unless you suspend those rules. So please do that. My hope is that this will pass unanimously, and then a council member will make a motion to empower our boards and commissions to review, regulate, and restrict the Flatiron Energy proposal. Now, I understand, last time we heard, that we are waiting for the application to be filed, but do we have to wait? Why? Is that in our charter? Could those boards and committees put it on their agendas and invite the public to weigh in so this process starts, and then they can write up their conclusions and send it to you, Mayor? Because the town leaders need to know that the boards and committees have come together, with well-researched arguments and unanimous votes across their committees and boards against the project. So then, Mayor, you can mount the best possible argument with whatever outcome we have. Is it going to the siting council? Is it not? We need to be prepared before that happens. So the overarching goal is to defeat this project. We must start now. We should not be waiting. If the planning and the conversation around this project is happening behind closed doors, the public has spoken loud and clear. We want to hear it. So have it tonight. Let's do this so that the residents are confident that this is being handled and fought, and that we can then get on to the multitude of other crucial things on tonight's agenda, which I'm actually blown. You guys are going to be here till 1 a.m. That also need our attention and our comments and our input. So let's do this. Thank you so much.
No, I'm after Hillary. What? I'm after Hillary. Oh, no, I'm not. No, Samuel Leonard. I'm sorry, I was so eager. So eager.
Hi, my name is Sam Brower. I'm a resident of Shelton. I live at 68 Montgomery Street. The reason I'm here is because this battery facility, as has been noted, has a downwind impact, and I would be one of the people that could conceivably be impacted. So I'm a scientist, and I'd like to flesh out some of the science, because it's clear that people don't quite understand the nature of what's going on here, and I'd like to explain a little bit. First off, a battery storage system is not inherently dangerous. It's quite possible to make batteries that are inherently safe, that use aqueous electrolytes, i.e. water-based, that don't catch fire, that don't pollute. The reason to use lithium-ion batteries is economics, that these batteries are cheaper than the safer alternatives. So let's be clear first and foremost that really what's going on here is an economics argument. The idea of siting a facility on top of an aquifer, it's like, oh boy. It's the fires that have occurred in lithium-ion battery storage facilities are often due to water. One of the major fires that occurred was when a sprinkler system malfunctioned, and that caused a fire. I suggest that all of you take a look at some of the videos that have come out of Moss Landing in California, where they have had one of the largest facilities operational. That was operational in 2019. As of in January of 2025, there was a major fire there. You can see the smoke plume that was generated. To the idea that that with training firemen can put these fires out, I'm sorry, that's laughable. Some of you people are clearly my vintage, so we all remember the birthday candles on the cake that you would try to put out and they would come back on. Lithium-ion batteries are like that. What happens is the battery has two sources of fuel, two sources of energy. It's the electrical energy that it's stored in there, but there's also the fire that takes place. Well, the electrical energy that's stored in there makes these fires novel. That realistically, that even if you put out the fire by depriving it of oxygen, there is so much heat left from the electrical energy that's stored there that's being shorted out that the battery then catches fire again. So in other words, there was a fire at Moss Landing in January of this year. That fire reignited in February. which show, and that should give you all some idea of how much time that needs to be spent to keep an eye peeled on these fires once they start. I'd also like to address some of the chemistry that's going on. Because somebody may throw out the idea, well, lithium-ion batteries are safe because we can put them in landfills. And so we really don't have to worry about the toxicity. Well, it turns out that the metals in these batteries, whether it's nickel, manganese, cobalt, or NMC, or LFP, or lithium iron phosphate, the metals are not the problem. The problem is that the combustion products that are formed, which is hydrofluoric acid. Hydrofluoric acid is quite toxic, and it also has long-term effects that it displaces calcium in the bones. So, in other words, if there is a fire, the compounds that we would have to worry about have a long tail.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I just have to give you 1 minute warning.
Thank you.
Have my minute? I'm giving you my time. I didn't do it.
Keep going, sir.
Okay. So, excuse me. Doing my best.
Another minute.
All right. So, in terms of the volumes that are put out, if we look at a truck fire, there are the estimates of the amount of hydrogen fluoride generated from a truck battery fire, in other words, a 100 kilowatt hour battery that you might find in an F-150, ranges in between 2 to 20 kilos. This facility that's proposed is about 5,000 of those trucks. So if we scale that up, we are now talking tens to hundreds of tons of hydrogen fluoride. You can look at the industrial accidents that have occurred, and you can also look at the mass.gov website, which deals with the toxicity of hydrogen fluoride. So that's the real compound that we should be frightened of if one of these batteries, if these batteries catch fire. The other thing I would like to point out is that the testing that was done in terms of the fire propagation, I'm sure that somebody probably mentioned UL94V0. Well, one of the problems with that testing is that it's done in a closed facility. But if there is a high wind, that changes the nature of propagation, of fire propagation. So in other words, having looked at the proposed facility, those cabinets are pretty damn close together. And I suspect that if you would consult with FM Global, that's an insurance company that has insured some of these facilities. They've also been publishing papers on this for decades in terms of how these fires spread. I suspect that they would have a great deal to say about how close together these cabinets are. So does that chew up my minute? Okay. Okay. So, and you know, obviously, I'd be happy to answer any questions on this, but let's see. So I've covered the economics. I've covered that the safety testing isn't. What I've neglected to mention, one of the challenges of hydrogen fluoride is it's not easy to track. That one of the things that really that I find very worrisome is that in New York and I think it was 2024, there were 3 separate battery fires. And New York State said, "Oh, we did a great job. We sent in these environmental labs to test for any types of contaminants." Well, they looked for metals, and lo and behold, they didn't really find a lot. But what they also didn't find was they didn't find elevated fluoride concentrations, which leads me to worry that how good were the people actually doing the testing, where they say that, oh yes, there's no environmental hazard. And I will point out that it's not easy to get, there is no magic wand that you can wave and say, okay, we can detect the amount of hydrogen fluoride in the air. It's actually, I think you have to do wet chemistry later on. So tracking hydrogen fluoride at the time of the incident is not trivial. And in other words, people are still trying to develop that technology now. Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Chairman Francis, members of the Town Council, Attorney DeBella, where are you going while I'm speaking? Nerve, you have nerve. And members of the public, thank you all for being here tonight. I'm here kind of to address what Ron was talking about before. I want to talk about hope, process, and success. That's something that New Milford has had for years. For some reason, New Milford has been targeted by out-of-state, horrible companies. They want to come and do horrible things in New Milford, and I'm going to talk about a few of those. I have spent my last 40 years here in New Milford fighting for New Milford, fighting for our environment, fighting for our quality of life. And the reason I want to tell this story is because there is hope, there is a process, and there is success. So, it first started out when the Iroquois gas pipeline, coming from Canada, wanted to build a transmission line to Long Island right through my subdivision that I had just moved into 3 months before. So, what did I do? I went to my first town council meeting, like some of you are here tonight. I stood and I shook because I was so nervous, and I'm still nervous when I speak. And I learned a lot. I learned that the town was going to put Jeff Senkowitz, who was then the attorney, on the case, and Jeff invited me to join him to work on this. We formed a group called Stop the Pipe. It should have been Move the Pipe, but we did move the pipeline ultimately. But I spent about 3.5 years with Jeff going to siting council meetings, meeting after meeting. I don't think there's anyone, any citizen, maybe there's a lawyer or two who have spent as much time as I have at the siting council, but it is a process and a long one. But we did move the pipeline in New Milford from some very environmentally sensitive areas and moved them away. So again, we didn't stop it, but we moved it. After that came a company called ERS, Environmental Recovery Systems. I don't know how many of you remember that. They wanted to build the world's largest recycling plant at Century Brass, which at that time was private property. And we mobilized then, and we fought them, and and they went away. They never had to go to the siting council. After that, and there's been some others in between, but then came in the late 1990s, Sempra. How many of you remember the Sempra power plant? Wanting to come and build the largest power plant around right here in New Milford on Route 7. Working together with the town, with Tom Beecher was the attorney at that point in time, we worked and we fought Sempra at the siting council level. The Zoning Commission and the Inland Wetlands Commission unanimously denied that proposal and sent that denial to the siting council. So we don't only have the right to restrict and regulate, we have the right to deny as well. And I think our commissions know that. But they need an application because what are they denying? They have to have the same application that's going to the siting council, the same site plans, the same information. And so that's really where the hang-up is. But Hillary, you're right. We can start getting ready now. No reason not to. And I'm sure they've already started to get ready. So Sempra took us 4 years. We raised $317,000 to fight it. We paid for attorneys, we paid for noise experts, sound experts, environmental experts, meteorologists. We did wind tunnels at the EPA to prove that the particulate matter in the air was going to come in our lungs and not just fly away. And we got a unanimous denial from the siting council. It's the only plant that got a unanimous denial at that point in time. And again, kudos to everybody because we worked together, the town, the citizens, and the groups that were spearheading. We had over 30 groups working together to stop that. We won those battles. Most recently, Candlewood Solar, from the company Amoresco, another out-of-state company from Massachusetts, proposed to cut down 80 acres of core forest on the top of Candlewood Mountain. And that would have impacted our aquifer, not our aquifer, but our water tables, the whole environment up there. And we won that battle too. They got an approval at the siting council, but Rescue Candlewood Mountain, and Lisa here, was the leader of Rescue Candlewood Mountain. We took him to court, and the town joined us, and we went to court, and we gave testimony. And Attorney Casagrande, who works very closely, yes, your partner, who works very closely with Randy, was the attorney on that. And he found every twist and every turn. He worked with the DEP, he worked with other consultants, and ultimately they withdrew. They just left town. We haven't heard from them since. The mayor was very strongly against that and participated very strongly. This council as well authorized the mayor to continue the effort. So, thank you for that. And so now we're back here again with another battle. And that's what we have to do now, is we have to work together with the town. We have to move forward. We don't have to look backwards. Let's just move forward. We're lucky to have Randy and his partners, Dan, and John Tower was another lawyer from the firm that worked with us. And he is a bulldog, let me tell you. We're lucky to have all these residents and all these groups, that we have the Clean Water Coalition, we have the Guardians, we have Save the West Aspetuck River Valley, all working for one cause. That's our strength. We have strength in numbers, and we know that strength in numbers, working with expert testimony, with the facts, working together with the town, we can stop Flatiron. Thank you.
My name is Betty Ann Smith. I live at 275 Aspetuck Ridge Road. This is the first time I've done something like this, so I'm not as prepared, or I don't have a prepared speech, but I really just want to say one quick thing. We moved here in 1992, and I've raised 2 children in New Milford, and I love this town where they grew up. We've been through a lot of changes in New Milford, but the one biggest change that I wanted to talk about tonight was in 2011, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. My family does not have a history of colon cancer, so I assume it was due to environmental causes, probably century brass, and I am assuming, but I believe that that's what caused it. Luckily, I'm fine. It's been 11 years. I'm free, and that's not a problem anymore. But my question is, we have spent so many millions of dollars cleaning up that area, and although this is not on the century brass property, from what I understand, it's close enough. Why we've spent so many millions of dollars, so much time and effort to clean that area up. Why would we go back to something like this? Why would we go backwards? And that's my biggest. So that's just my only question. The other proposal that I have is that we bring the man from Shelton back to give an informational session, because that was fabulous. So thank you for your time.
Okay, Brian Culture.
Brian Guyton, 42 Old Ridgeberry Road, Danbury, Connecticut. Thank you, council members. I'm here on behalf of the Brian Cody Foundation and the recovery community at large. I am a volunteer manager at a Danbury Recovery Community Center. I've been doing it for about 2 years. And first and foremost, I want to say New Milford has some of the best recovery support structures in the greater Danbury, New Milford, Bethel area. And that's why, for me, it's also important to have this on National Overdose Awareness Day on the 31st and moving forward, because it's a chance for the community to come together, to know why we're there, what we're there for, to support, to embrace, to remember, and just to strive to move forward as a collective whole, because it takes a community. It's a way for people can come in there and recover out loud instead of hiding in a church basement. And it's a wonderful organization. And yeah, I'll keep it brief. So thank you for your time.
All right. Jackie Eaton, Redwood Lane. I too say no to the Flatiron, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here too for the health and safety of our residents, and I'm here because we are becoming less safe. People are being terrorized, kidnapped, and killed under the current administration. And I am asking how New Milford is preparing to protect its residents. ICE killed Renee Nicole Good, and the videos have spread across the globe and brought to light what protesters and activists have been shouting for months. 32 people died in ICE custody this past year, and ICE's inhumane treatment of human beings, their denial of due process, and their blatant cruelty, all while acting way outside the law, is escalating terror and distrust. We know what we saw. They are disappearing and killing people, which creates a dangerous and volatile environment for all of us. This is not just a national crisis. It is a local, every town crisis. Army veteran Chris Cravens-Hutton of Chris and Dave recently posted that ICE's actions are radicalizing all of us, and that their tactics and optics are undermining law enforcement agencies at all levels and are making good policing harder. I personally want to thank the New Milford Police Department for their good policing and communicating with us over the past year. Our unpaid, Mr. Esposito, indivisible group, Act Local, peacefully protests every week because every day since last January has been laden with assaults to our Constitution. I am grateful that the town of New Milford and our police department have stood by our First Amendment rights. Thank you. I am grateful that I can have open and honest exchanges with the New Milford Police. However, I must ask if we as a town are prepared for an ICE offensive against our neighbors. How will we deal with violent, untrained agents? What is our response to an illegal detention with no signed warrant? Will we be protected when we stand against the illegal ICE actions? How will we protect our citizens from the untrained, violent, mock law enforcement who have been recruited with cash bonuses and promised cash bounties to detain human beings? No matter how this regime tries to spin the murder and corrupt the name of Renee Good, we know what we saw. We know what we saw when a mother was shot in the face by a hateful ICE agent. No matter how relentless and widespread the gaslighting is by this regime and its followers, we also know what we saw on January 6th. This regime is literally rewriting the history of that riotous insurrection. But we know what we saw. We saw police officers being attacked, assaulted, and pushed to the ground. We saw that police officers died because of the riots. We saw violence, destruction, and terror on the Capitol. No matter the gaslighting, we know who is instigating the violence. We know what our network of rapid response teams are witnessing all across Connecticut and right here in Danbury. We see the cruelty, the inhumanity, the lawlessness, and the violence of ICE. And we know the lies of this administration. For New Milford, what we want to know, what we need to know, is that our town, our police, and our electeds will protect us and protect the rule of law when ICE brings its lawlessness and terror here. What's the plan, New Milford? Thank you.
Hey, Diane, how many more?
Just three after.
Okay, James Stasiak. I'm at 139 Bucks Rock Road. Every speaker tonight, I think, has touched on some root issues which we all, I think, agree on. The character of our town, the way that everyone bands together to fight things like Sempra and the other companies who've come in, and now we're doing it again. And I'd like to commend everyone for doing that. My concerns go towards some of the more mundane issues of this project. One area is the construction of this thing, should it happen to pass. Are we going to need additional roads or modifications to existing roads to handle the weight of these battery packs, which are supposedly around 80,000 pounds each? That's not a trivial amount of weight to move around. So I haven't heard any plans about that. Is the site construction going to be regulated to be from 8 in the morning, let's say, to 8 in the evening? Is there going to be any overnight construction that's going to go on? What about the noise levels from that? Where I am, up on Bucks Rock, we can hear noises pretty far down the valley. So it's not untenable for noise to spread quite a distance. So the other thing is the site obviously has some specialized equipment there and specialized ways of dealing with unfortunate circumstances. Will there be someone actually on site every day for 24 hours a day to monitor that so that the quickest response time is guaranteed? I haven't heard anything about that. And not being facetious, but these containers that the batteries in, how secure are they? I mean, how impermeable are they? Can a bullet pass through them? We're out. We're out sort of in the woods. Sometimes errant things go by. As far as the power lines go that these things connect to, I know there's an abundance of power lines going across the hills behind that area. Are we going to hook up to those? What kind of construction will be necessary to put in those connections? This is going to affect that area, that immediate area, but also the rest of the area in town, because it speaks to what the town will allow to be present here. And allowing something like this doesn't really sit well, I think, with the image that New Milford has built, and built quite steadily over the years. My wife and I moved here in '92, and when Route 7 was still a 2-lane road. And of course, we were from Westchester, so we come up 7 and gotcha. So immediately we said, well, this is going to be developed. Well, it took about 20 years for that to happen, but we're not going to be so lucky with this. The other considerations that I'd like you guys to think about in whatever ways is the effect of this on our pets, on our livestock, on our horses, on our children, on businesses that have outdoor venues. I think the humming effects will find themselves spread out quite nicely, even if it's not overwhelmingly perceptible, it will be there. Thank you very much for listening.
Barbara Mitchell. And you have, I'm sorry, 4 minutes. That's right.
I know that. Barbara Mitchell, 19 Creamery Road. My husband Keith and I have lived here 22 years. And I didn't know I was speaking tonight. I don't have anything prepared, just no microphone anymore. I'm just saying, I'm terrified. Like everybody else in this room, we're all terrified. The cancer that Betty Sue, I think her name was, she mentioned cancer. A simple Google search will show you that there are hundreds of towns across this nation, little rural towns, where lithium battery farms were installed and people got cancer. They got all sorts of diseases, not just the fire, just the humming, the day-to-day life that we're going to be living. We are going to be exposed. Every single living object in our world is going to be exposed to radiation. I'm terrified, and that's why I'm speaking. And I thank you all for your service to all of us. Thank you.
Okay, and lastly, we have Christiana Reddingham. Christina.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I went out there to
Hello, I'm Christina Reddington. I live at 252 Wellsville Avenue here in New Milford. I'm here tonight to demand the town to do their due diligence to protect our town's aquifer and residential neighborhoods in consideration of the looming battery project. I know you've heard a lot about this tonight. The new plans to locate the batteries closer to one of our town's private recreation areas astounds me. However, nothing made my jaw drop like the original plan, basically citing this project on an aquifer. On it, adjacent to it, regardless, these are not places for a project of this size. This is a natural resource that is something that we are all aware that we need to fiercely protect. We don't get another one. The fact that there was such a lag in sharing the information about this possibility with news in 2022 and most of us learning about it in 2025 has me standing here requesting that the town council work to find better transparency in their operations. Our community should not be surprised by a project this far along. Most especially when we know that this will usurp many of our own abilities to protect our beloved community, as the decision goes to the Siting Council. As taxpayers in Connecticut, we need to urge for legislation at the state level to include a way for local government to have representation on the Siting Council, but that isn't an issue that can be solved here tonight. As a homeowner, parent, and vested community member, over 20 years on Wellsville Avenue, and let me tell you, that is town, like that is 20 hard years of living in this community. I urge you to work fearlessly to protect our environment and our community at large. A battery project of this magnitude in our town, with an inexperienced company at the helm, is a recipe for disaster.
I believe Mr. Lillis signed up, didn't you? Oh, you didn't? Oh.
Said already.
Oh, all right. All was said. Okay, Norm.
All right, okay.
Okay. Comments or?
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Okay,
Make a motion to suspend the rules.
Okay, before we.
Excuse me. Harry's talking to you. No, Harry just asked you a question.
Because I'm new here, I'm just learning the ropes. Can I make a motion to suspend the rules now, or when can I make that motion?
Make that motion now if you'd like.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules, to have discussion and possible action on the Flatiron proposal now. Let us empower our boards and commissions to review, regulate, and restrict the Flatiron proposal post haste. Let us empower the mayor to vet third-party firms to propose at least 3 for consideration at the January 26th meeting.
So you move it to suspend the rules.
Yeah.
So your first motion was to suspend the rules to add an item to the agenda.
Okay. I'm learning.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
Excuse us.
What I'd like to ask Katie.
There is
if
a-
we could-
Excuse me, we do have to conduct a business, please. Just, please be adult about it.
On the agenda.
On the agenda.
Here, there is.
Item number 4.
Item number 14 is
No,
update on the...
no, excuse me, Tom. We're talking about item number 4. That we're
Right.
going.
Can we move 14?
Okay, first of all, item number 4 was, and for those of you who would like to pick that apart, this was put on here in error, and so please disregard that.
That'll be no.
Okay, now we'll go to item 14.
Could we, with the town council's leisure, could we move that up to now? As we're
Yes.
having the majority of the people that are here
Yes.
concerning, right?
Right. So, item number 14, I'd just like to read it before you do it again. It is an update from the mayor on the Flatiron Battery Facility Project. So, you see, it is being discussed.
So first of all, thank you for everybody coming here tonight. Thank you for everybody that has put their comments in, and those that are working towards fighting this particular project, this battery project. First and foremost to start is the next, I'm sorry if you can't hear me, is the next town council meeting, which will be on the 26th, which will be at New Milford High School. And at New Milford High School, we were going, because it's a special meeting, because we've moved the venue from when we normally do here, we'll be at the high school. At the high school, at the very beginning, we'll start at 6:30, not 7 p.m., which gives a little more time. The very beginning of the agenda item, and speaking with Randy DeBella, we are going to have what's called a workshop. In that workshop, Flatiron will come and present to not only the town council, but to Inland Wetlands and the Zoning Commission. They will all be seated with us. That satisfies FOI requirements, as the minutes will be taken by by Stephanie. So that'll do all of those there. So again, that will be at New Milford High School. That will be starting at 6:30 p.m., of which we will have public comment as we do now. And another thing too. Sure, Ron.
Part of information. I spoke to the people at Flatiron about the next meeting. They said we're going to be doing the exact same thing with the 8 stations that they did on Thursday. Now,
Yeah, that I was gonna. Thanks, Ron. I was gonna talk about that. That's they're doing that, I believe, on the 21st.
Yes.
And that will be at Sarah Noble School for those that may want to go there. But ours is the town council meeting. Also, I spoke with our representatives. Representative Buckby, Representative Callahan, Representative Buckbond, and State Senator Harding. Part of this process is we have interveners. The town will be an intervener. Also, each one of our delegations independently will be interveners. So they will also be involved on a state level, here on a local level. Some of the concerns that I think all of us have, especially when they came to the Zoning Commission. And those that have not watched that, you can go to the town YouTube site and see their presentation. As those that may have come here before and talked a little bit, very new.
There isn't a lot of history with this particular company, which concerns all of us. Also, it's proposed in a residential zone. They haven't given us information on the impact of this project, on the safety, as you guys have talked about before, on the noise aspect. That's just some of it as well. The company has not filed an application yet, and that kind of triggers certain processes that we can do. But what can we do right now? First thing, talked about being interveners. I've also asked the town attorney to look at a possible moratorium that the town of New Milford could put on. Also, within the regulations, there is what's called a municipal participation account, of which this proposal should give the town of New Milford $40,000. And that will be part of the process for us to hire the environmental professionals to give us, as the town of New Milford, the proper information, because we're going to need that when we do go before the siting council if they decide that they want to move forward with this project. I'm asking the council's permission to hire our own experts to review the project for the health and safety of its residents and the environment. I've also talked with Randy DeBella, Dan Casagrande, who's talked about before, and John Tower and Kramer Anderson will be our attorneys. And they have steadfast experience in doing it. I'm also asking our zoning, inland wetlands agencies to review the proposed plan when they do get it. This action must be taken no later than 30 days after the application is filed with the siting council. So we do have the availability to review it, make our own opinions. Also, I'm going to be asking permission from this town council that we hold a non-binding referendum at John Pettibone School so that the entire town of New Milford can weigh in on this, which I think will be extremely important.
Vote.
When and if we go to the town council. When we go to the siting council. Again, our next town council meeting is going to be on the 26th, 6:30 p.m. special town council meeting. I am going to ask if we can suspend the rules, Katie, and empower us to begin the process of hiring those professionals, and then also the ability to talk to the voter registrars to see about setting up a town referendum.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Any discussion to adding this to the agenda?
This is to add to the agenda.
Are you making that motion, Mayor?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Tom second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Just discussion.
Yep.
Thank you, that's helpful. But it was a lot of information. That was the first that I was hearing it, so just to make sure. Does that include a third party?
Yes.
firm?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
$40,000 worth.
That they're supposed to give us, and then
but
whatever.
This is to empower us to start the process
Correct.
of hiring that third party.
Correct.
It's empowering the mayor. Please say it again, so there's no, really.
So allowing us to, the
Rampant
town
rumors.
to hire
Yes.
the experts that we're gonna need.
Right.
Will the town council get to choose who the third party is, or would that be the exclusive discretion of the mayor?
This is just a motion to add this to the agenda, so when you add it to the agenda and then vote on the separate motion.
So,
Okay, all right, sure.
That's all right, no.
So let's vote to add it to the agenda then.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, any abstentions? Thank you. And then to go to your question, Ari, to be quite honest with you, I would leave it up to our Public Works Director. I would think we have some great people that are here that have tremendous experience when it comes to this type of hiring of these type of caliber of individuals. It would be well above my purview. So I would think we would empower a group of people to make that decision, because I couldn't make that decision. I wouldn't know one thing from the other on that. So it'd be empowering us all.
As we have done in the past, Ari, before you remember, we have gotten together people who are cognizant of all of those things and
And Randy,
talk it out.
at our meeting on the 26th, if you can give us the process of how we would start a moratorium, how all that would work, so that we could move forward with that if this body
Explain
so
that.
chooses.
Give a little explanation of what that
So
moratorium means.
A moratorium would be this, and the citing council could decide to not honor that, but it's just our commitment as a town showing the concerns of this project. As most of you here have talked about, not only here at the zoning meeting as well, is that this particular project, there's a lot of concerns that affect all of us. The health, the safety, the experience of this company, all things that we have no idea about. So I think it behooves us all to take a very diligent, a very methodical approach so that we have those data points so that not only all of us can understand the process better, but also when and if we have to go to the citing council and fight this.
So you made a motion to add this to the agenda. Do you want to actually now put the motion in
Yes.
play?
Yep, I'd like to request a second to allow us to hire the environmental experts, also to create a date for a referendum, which we'll bring back to the town council at the next meeting for a non-binding resolution,
let's do the
so that
first
all of our community can weigh in on this.
Second.
Any other discussion?
So the referendum, Mayor, is going to be crucial for all the people that came here. Actually, they will have a chance to speak, including myself and yourself.
Right.
Because that's actually is going to be the words spoken by us, and it's going to be recorded. So we can talk all we want to the microphone, but all together, and if it goes to the state of Connecticut, because they came up with these ideas and lost in 2021, they will have the vote from the people from New Milford. Right. And that's what Mayor is saying. That's right. And that's what we're proposing as a town council.
The vote. Okay.
And again, we will, as Hillary had mentioned before, we will make sure and put out again on all of our platforms when our next town council meeting, which will be the last Monday of the month, at New Milford High School as well. And I urge all of you to come to that, as they will be there, as well as our boards and commissions, and our legislators will be there as well.
Mayor, you want Dan and John there?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we have a
Make it happen.
motion and a second?
Yep, we have a motion, I have a second. Thank you, Rolanda. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, so now we're moving on.
Okay.
Okay, item number 5.
Right, now we're going with our regular meeting.
Yeah, this will just be our regular agenda.
Thank
Do we have to vote after 9 o'clock if we're going to stay or not? Because we're not that far.
We're flying through this.
Oh,
we didn't
no.
vote to 9:30.
Now we have to 9, and then we have to vote for the extension. No, we changed this. At the beginning of time, this is the time.
Hey, folks, if you could just make your way out and keep the conversation low, we're going to continue our meeting, and trying to talk over everybody is difficult. Thank
It's all
you.
right, let them walk out.
Okay.
They spent a couple hours here. Okay, are you all ready?
Yes.
You guys here? Let's talk about the council. Okay,
Let's do
item
it.
number 5, I'd like to move that we approve items 5A and 5B, prior minutes and tax collector.
Second.
All those in favor?
Discussion.
Sure, any discussion, Larry?
Yes,
That was good.
I don't think we ever approved the meeting minutes for the special meeting that we had that just went over the rules of procedure. It should be very brief. I saw those meeting minutes, but I don't think we ever actually voted to approve them, and I think we need to do that, if not tonight.
I don't
then
know what
next
you're
time.
talking about.
There was the
yeah,
special
or-
meeting, it was 15 minutes,
Let's-
and we went over the rules and procedures.
Let's put that to the next agenda so everybody has a
Yeah.
chance to watch.
Okay.
So we'll do that.
You mean the we did it for the council?
Yeah, for the
Oh,
special
okay,
meeting.
yeah, right, okay. Next meeting, how's that?
You okay?
Yep.
You all right?
He's a
Darryl,
sales
you all
guy.
right?
He knows what.
Oh, I almost went down.
Harry, is that agreeable?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So,
No
all
rush.
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 7, I'd like to move that we accept.
6,
I'll do
mayor's
those.
comment.
That's the mayor's comments, he's gonna wait, okay? Don't worry about it. Item number 7, I would like to move that we approve the following appointments and reappointments. Housatonic Regional Resource Recovery Authority, that would be Mayor Pete Bass and Suzanne Von Holt as an alternate. Their term, January 12th, 2026 to January 31st, 2029.
Second.
I'm doing these all together.
Yep.
Town Clerk, we have Caitlin Patterson replacing
Caitlin's right here.
retired Noreen Pritchard, her term January 12th, 2026 through November 30th of 2027. Board of Assessment Appeals, Judith McCallion, she would have a term for the Board of Assessment Appeals from January 12th, 2026 through January 31st of 2030. And the Zoning Commission, James Valinsky Jr. would have a term of January 31st, 2026 to January 31st of 2030. That is a reappointment for him.
Second.
Do I have a second?
We have a second
Yeah,
for
Tom
Tom
did
and
it.
discussion. And if we could have Caitlin just come up for just a
Yes.
minute.
Come on.
She's our new town clerk, very excited. She was, for those that didn't know, she was our assistant town clerk. Extensive experience, and we're very excited to have her now in this position of town clerk.
And you also had experience in another town.
And we'll let Caitlin talk first, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you. I don't want to take too much time, but it's been just an honor to be here serving everybody. And New Milford is a really special town, as you know, is witnessed here tonight. You know, such a wonderful community, and I'm really grateful to be a part of it, and you know, happy to serve in this way. So, thank you.
We're very excited to have you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
Caitlin, could you introduce who now be replacing you as the assistant town clerk?
Yes.
Oh, there, okay.
Kathy Talmadge, who is born and raised here, just the most amazing person, such a big help to me. She will now be the deputy. So I think New Milford is really lucky to have her. Kathy
Absolutely.
Talmadge.
And
Yep.
Kathy's been
Thank you,
in the
Kathy.
town clerk's
Kathy, yeah.
office as well, so it's just kind of moving up. Oh, yeah, lots of experience.
She's a wealth of experience and knowledge and everything.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, is there any other, is Mr. Valinsky or Judith McCallion, anyone else here that would like to stand up and say, yes, that's who I am? Okay, great. All right.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, everyone. And
Great.
congratulations, guys.
Yes. Item number 8, I'd like to move to approve that we approve a grant for the youth agency. It's $5,000 from the Western Connecticut Coalition. This funding would be used for the creation of a Zen Den, which is a space where young people can reflect quietly, feel calm, and promote mental wellness at the youth agency. The awarded money will be deposited into an account recommended by the finance director.
Any
Mary
discussion?
Jane, thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you,
I wouldn't
everyone.
mind a Zen Den every now and then. Item number 9, I'd like to move to approve for the New Milford Library that they are able to accept a donation in the amount of $250 from Diane DeFrino. This donation will be used for library materials and programming. And also, we'd like to move to approve an amount of $200 from Nancy Battori. This donation would be used for library materials and programming, and it's in memory of Sandra Harder Anderson.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item number 10, I'd like to move that we give the New Milford Police Department an okay to accept a donation of $250 from Tractor Supply, and that's to be used for community outreach.
Second.
Okay, Paul?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item number 11, I'd like to move that we approve a request from the Commission on the Arts that they accept $56 from public donations at the annual Carol Sing. The request is to put those funds in the art consultants account number 10450200537. 000.
Thank
Mary
you.
Jane?
Any discussion? And Lou is here as the commission
Oh, you are here. I saw
chairperson.
you. Hi, Lou.
And they do such amazing stuff for the town. Absolutely. All those in favor?
Thank you, Lou.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item number 12, I'd like to move that we approve a grant funding amount of $137,977.17. This is grant funding through round 2 of the Community Education Network Grant Program, and it supports the community Wi-Fi expansion, and this is done in partnership with the New Milford Board of Education.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Number 13, I'd like to move that we accept the Park and Recreation's explanation of their, oh, there you are, Dan, of their fees.
Come on up, Dan.
Anybody want to second this?
Second.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. I don't know if everybody got a chance to see in the packet the fees. And Dan, I believe the only 2 fees that went up were boat launch and boat slips?
Yeah, just boat slips this year, went up by $50. Everything else, we know the economy is tough for people, so we didn't want to put any more burden on our taxpayers, so we kept the other increases by.
Awesome.
Great job.
I have a motion to accept
We
the
do.
fee structure.
Mary
Oh, yeah.
Jane.
And thank you, Mary Jane. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, everyone. Dan, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Item number 14, the mayor, you already spoke about that. Item 15, I'd like to move that we set a public hearing to talk about the revision of the homestead exemption ordinance.
Second.
Which,
And we have Brian right here.
and Brian is right here. And thank you, Rolando.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, for the record, Brian Lastra, Town Assessor. We'd like to amend, I put a proposal together, consulted with the mayor, to amend the homestead ordinance to allow for a late filing period. It's our first year trying to implement the homestead exemption, and there are definitely some residents who were confused about it. Some people on elderly tax credit, didn't think they could qualify for this. Some people felt that if they had a mortgage on the property, they didn't have title and that they couldn't apply. So we've had a number of individual residents, property owners. So it's a pretty short amendment. It's like about 7 lines, but basically it's going to allow people from February until April 15th to apply.
That's the deadline then.
Yeah, that would be the next.
Sort of like tax time. That's
Yes,
easy to
and
remember.
and this would be like a permanent thing in the ordinance. So, from year to year.
Okay.
We would have this, people would have this opportunity. Excuse me?
February.
Yeah, be February through April 15th. April 15th would be the deadline.
Do you have a date for this public hearing?
So, yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to do it. I'll be coming back to the council on February 9th to talk about the effects of the reassessment. And I don't, now that Randy's jumped up here, I was going to ask him if that would be appropriate to have a public hearing and then amend, during the meeting that follows, the town council meeting that follows, pass the amendment. But
Well, aren't we doing that now? Oh, no, we only wanted to set, we should have had
set the
that.
public hearing. Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
add to the agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay, so before we vote on setting the date.
Right.
I'd like to move to add to our agenda.
Well, you've got the motion on the floor, so do you want to withdraw that?
Yeah, well, we'll
motion?
just withdraw that. How's that? Okay? I'd like to add to the agenda item number 13A.
15A. 15A.
Oh, sorry, I got too many things written here, kids. Okay, 15A, that, give me what you're gonna do.
Okay, to have a public hearing to consider
We
the
already
amendment to the homestead ordinance.
You're gonna you're gonna tell us about the homestead ordinance,
And the-
right?
and
Put
the-
it on the record, right?
Yes,
Okay, is that right?
And the date is February 9th?
right.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Say 6:30?
So you just suspended the rules to add this to the agenda, correct?
Yep,
You voting on that?
that's what I added to the agenda.
All those in favor of adding to the agenda, signify by
Aye.
saying
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Now you're voting on it.
Now, item 15A, the ordinance, February 9th,
Ninth.
6:30.
Yes.
Everybody got that?
To talk about the revision of the
Right.
homestead exemption ordinance to add late
Late filing period.
Period.
Yes. And one of the most important things about this ordinance is, if you remember when we passed it, the state statute allows us to grant an exemption between 5% and 35%.
Right.
So the point of the February 9th presentation is to show you what the effects of the reassessment were. What was the tax shift from commercial, industrial properties to residential?
We're gonna
And
make
you
this
would,
one 6:15.
you know, use that type of information to make a judgment as to what exemption
Yes.
amount you would want to apply.
That's when you want to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that should be part of it.
Is there a second to the motion, to Katie's motion?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you,
6:30, February 9th.
Yes.
All right. Are we done with that now?
Yep.
Yep.
Okey
Thank you,
dokey.
Brian.
Yeah, thank you.
Item number 16, I'd like to move that we approve the Department of Public Works request for an acceptance of a Connecticut DOT commitment to fund the town's lot SIP application for state project L095005. The Connecticut DOT has reviewed and approved the application designed to improve the intersection of East Street, known as Route 202, Elm Street, and Elm Street Extension. The application was submitted through Westcog. The grant is in the amount of $656,400, and it will be used for widening the intersection by adding a lane, and covers the cost of construction, rights-of-way administration, utility work, and incidentals. The work is planned for 2026 into 2027. Note, the town is responsible for paying the design fees.
Second.
Thank you.
Tom.
We have
Waiting for
Jack
that
and Chuck. If you guys
Change
could
that
come up.
intersection for years.
That'll help with congestion.
Oh my God,
No
I hate that
kidding,
spot.
huh?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for.
Yeah, we
how
should
long?
put this in a little bowl, a little plaque.
Forever.
Good
We've been
evening,
talking about this
Chuck.
forever.
I'll be quick. Chuck Ballard, design engineer, Town of New Milford, engineering department. Just as a refresher for this project, this is a congestion relief project. The main original focus of this was for northbound traffic leaving the downtown area, heading north towards the Kent area. And we wanted to add an additional lane of traffic, mainly a turning lane, because currently if a car is turning left onto, say, Elm Street, there's a considerable backup. So that was ideally what we were focused on. When we got into design, we realized we can add actually turning lanes in the eastbound and the westbound direction, which will improve some flow in all three directions. What's not going to be touched is the southbound traffic. What we don't want to do is actually cause more traffic to get into town quicker, because essentially they have nowhere to go, and we're constricted by space in that area because of the hospital property and the cemetery on the other side. So what the consultant did is maximize the available space. The only impact to private property will be to hospital property on the southwestbound side, so not the actual hospital, but one of the houses they own, a parking lot that's actually not even being used. That's actually part 2 of this on here. So we're looking for approval for the commitment to fund. Again, this is paid for through the Connecticut DOT, through the LOTSIP program, $656,400. The town has already paid and is currently in the final design process for design on this. roughly about $80,000 into that through a consultant, which is nearing the end. Once that gets wrapped up, it goes, wrapped up, finalized into the submission to our COG, which is WestCOG, and then resubmitted back to WestCOG into the final submission there. So we are nearing the end of that process. We're just down to this commitment to fund, which needs approval. We're going to talk with New Vans for the easement needed just for a lane widening on one side of the road, and we'll proceed from there.
Great.
Any other discussion?
Just a quick question. So the lane is going to be extended going north? South?
So there'll be a turning lane in the northbound direction.
Okay.
Right now?
From point to point, like you talk north, so from which point? From like a gas station up to the lights at the...
Not the full length, only the last, say, 50 feet, there'll be a turning lane. It will not be a center lane all the way. Just as you approach that intersection, there'll be a lane to now make a left turn.
Because the big problem is when you get out of the CVS, you can stay forever in that lane.
Yeah, that's what this
That's where they get stuck.
Correct.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
So
people understand
this will allow queue space for cars to line up that want to make that left turn. So it won't accommodate 12 cars, but it will accommodate, say, 4 cars. So that will hopefully relieve a lot of congestion, because essentially it just takes one car to block that intersection, waiting for that left turn.
Right.
All right, so now people understand what I have.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Finally.
Item 16A2, like to move that we approve the draft easement map for East Street and Elm Street.
Second.
Thank you. Chuck? Jack?
Yeah, again, this is just an easement. What we need is roughly 6 to 8 feet of property from New Vance. So we'll have to sit down and have a discussion with them. So it's an authorization to talk with them. And we're going to acquire some land for an expansion of a lane. Like I said, we need to add in a turn lane. The only way to do that is affect one side of the road or the other. Through design, it's best to take from this particular side, has minimal impact. Utility relocations are limited. It's kind of the best use, the best case scenario. So we will be approaching New Vance on that, and it's really just the acknowledgement that this has to happen, and you're blessed to do so.
Great.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Next.
Item 16B, I'd like to move that we approve creating a scenic road committee for Chernisky Bridge.
Jack? Thank you, Tom. Jack?
Okay, yeah. It's time to, we have gotten a grant from the state of Connecticut. We've had it. The application actually started probably like 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
We have a grant from them to pay a certain portion of the replacement of the Chernisky Road Bridge. In the process, we need to form a scenic road committee because Chernisky Road is considered by our town ordinances as a scenic road. As part of the process, because we're making a modification, a significant modification to the road, which a bridge is defined as, there has to be a scenic road committee. There's a procedure in the town ordinance. I don't think you want me to read it, but
No.
In there, we have to bring it before the town council, which we did on October 6, 2021.
Right.
We also filed an 8-24 with the Planning Commission on November 5th, 2021. So we started the process back then, and those two portions were done. What we need tonight is to have the town council authorize us to begin putting together a scenic road committee, which includes a member of the town council, a member of the Planning Commission, the Public Works Director, or his designee, the Town Director of Community Planning and Economic Development, if that position exists. If not, then you can put another resident there, and then 2 residents from Chernisky Road. That process has to be performed by having a meeting of the residents of Chernisky Road and allow them to elect their representatives. And then at that point, we would have meetings, and then they would consider this, the scenic road and what we're proposing.
Mary Jane, did you want to be on there for the council?
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Great.
There you go, Jack.
That was easy.
Yeah, they do,
All
yes.
do planning.
But you've done this before. You get the residents together and then they decide.
We've done this before,
Exactly.
but I just want,
Just a
we
different
need
road.
to do this to follow the ordinance.
Different bridge.
And we have
Same stuff.
We have a motion and a second,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we move down to item 16B. Now we're on C. And I'd like to move that we take the action to borrow for roads and bridges as follows. That we have authorization for future borrowing of $10 million for roads and $10 million for bridges.
Second.
Thank you. And
Rolando,
for most of us that are have been on the town council knows that are just coming on, this is just authorization. This isn't we're going to spend the money this year, but because doing these authorizations costs the town about $70,000 when we do these, by doing these large amounts, we save that money and have the ability to then do the work. And we did this in 2023, right, Jack? I think it was? Yep. Same amounts.
Okay.
Any other further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item C2, I'd like to move that we set a date for a special town meeting, which would be to authorize the bonding for roads and bridges pending the Board of Finance approval. And suggested date for that would be February 9th.
Can we make that 6:15?
I was just going to say that, 6:15.
Yep.
Because our 6:30 will be busy.
Second.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Tom. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, would you like to do item
Yes,
17?
thank you, Katie. The landfill settlement fund and its ordinance that it has now, part of that ordinance had expired, which was allowing the town to use some of that money for tax relief. We talked about that last year, and at the budget time last year, we said we would set up a subcommittee to look at that. So I'm asking for the town council to allow a subcommittee to be formed to study the landfill settlement ordinance and bring back the recommendations to the town council.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, thank you. The next also is every 5 years, we're actually about a year late. We're supposed to revisit charter revision, am I correct, Randy? So now's the time to create a 6-month charter revision committee. I'll bring back to the town council a recommendation for the size at our 26th meeting. But this just gets Randy and the guys
So moved.
in the queue. Thank you.
Second it.
And second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, yep.
Will there be bipartisan representation?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
And I'd just like to make this clear, as whatever we're being viewed on, the next regular meeting of the town council is scheduled for Monday, January 26th. And where is it going to be held?
Milford
High
School.
Milford High School. Okay, so there's no confusion.
So that everybody knows, we have the town council meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of every month. Monday of every month. So on Mondays, second week and fourth week, you will find this room filled unless we are at the high school.
Before we go, just a quick proposal. I don't know if I need to suspend the rules for this, but there were several people from Brian Cody's organization today asking that we commemorate the International Overdose Awareness Day regularly so that they don't have to come back.
No, they were asking for the date because they are having an issue with you getting that date. They want that same date every year.
And the body that reserves and controls the green is the Park and Rec. I know Dan was there. I'm gonna give him a call tomorrow just to see.
Terrific.
I know Lou with the Commission on the Arts, they had reserved different spots, so I think everybody working together
Great.
will give an update.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was what that was all about. Yeah, and it'll probably be fixed.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Somebody gonna?
I'll make it.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.